Every NFL team has a great strength, a strength that they can fall back on when everything else is just not working. In this video, I give you the greatest strength for every NFL team entering the 2020 season. Before I give you the greatest strength for every NFL team, spike the like button, subscribe to The Bottom Line View for more NFL videos just like this, and comment below your opinion on what your favorite team's strength is entering 2020. The Buffalo Bills' greatest strength is their pass defense, and it all starts with their coach, their mastermind of defense, Sean McDermott. McDermott puts his players in the perfect position to make a play on the football. You have Tre'Davious White, one of the game's best zone corners. At safety, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, one of the best combos in the game. Wallace at the number 2. Josh Norman entering the mix. Milano and Edmonds as fantastic rangy cover backers. This pass defense has been one of the best in the game, and it will be once again in 2020. The secondary of the Patriots is definitely their greatest strength. The ability to play man-to-man coverage across the board versus any team and match up with any set of receivers, tight ends, running backs. It doesn't matter. This secondary absolutely is locked down, and it starts with the Defensive Player of the Year, the best man-to-man cover corner in the game, Stephon Gilmore. On the opposite side, one of the best up-and-coming young playmaking corners in the game, J.C. Jackson. In the nickel, Jonathan Jones, one of the quickest, fastest corners in the game. Devin McCourty, one of the rangiest free safeties. Patrick Chung, one of the toughest in-box safeties. That's just their starters. You go behind that, Jason McCourty has this twin telepathy with Devin. It's off the charts. It's the reason they were the number 1 pass D last year. This defense all starts with the secondary, and that is what they can fall back on when everything else is going wrong. The New York Jets' greatest strength is their linebacking position. We didn't get to see it a year ago, but they have a ton of depth and a ton of playmakers at the linebacker position, and it's going to be specifically tested without Jamal Adams, who kind of is a linebacker in his own right, now being shipped to Seattle. But CJ Mosley, he's that leader. He's that guy that plays chess at the linebacker position that you always need. Avery Williamson is a great linebacker in his own right. Blake Cashman's a physical freak. They have a ton of depth at inside linebacker. It's been tested because of 2019, and now we're going to see the depth come into play in 2020 when all of these players will have a specific role to make up for the loss of Jamal Adams. The Miami Dolphins' greatest strength is in their head coach. That is Brian Flores. Brian Flores is the Dolphins' greatest strength because he is already one of the greatest leaders at the coaching position in the NFL. He gets the best out of his players. We expected the Dolphins in 2019 to maybe shoot for 0-16. That was a real possibility last offseason. But because of Flores and because he put these players in the right position, because he motivated these players, they went 5-11. I expect the Dolphins once again to be put in a good position and to have the right mindset thanks to their head coach. The Pittsburgh Steelers' greatest strength is their front four. Their front four is phenomenal. Stephon Tuitt and Cameron Hayward inside. TJ Watt, Bud Dupree outside. That's the best starting front four in the game, arguably. TJ Watt, in my opinion, is the best edge player in the game because of his great versatility, not just as a pass rusher, but also as a run defender and to drop into coverage. Bud Dupree is a stud and just bullies tackles in the run and pass game. Hayward has been one of the most consistent interior defensive linemen in the game, and to it, when he's on the field, you could argue he might even be better than Hayward. The Baltimore Ravens' greatest strength is their quarterback, number 8, the MVP Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is their greatest strength because without him, they wouldn't be an elite team. He is their offense. Without Lamar Jackson, this offense doesn't run the way they want it to. He is what they've built around. The way they play defense, the way they play offense, the way that they run their schemes is thanks to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is a different, special playmaker, and he is the greatest strength of the Ravens. The Cleveland Browns' greatest strength is their offense. The Browns' offense has a phenomenal now offensive line that can just bully people thanks to their additions at tackle this offseason. Their tight end got upgraded with Austin Hooper, a very reliable tight end. Odell Beckham Jr., in my opinion, has the skill set of the best receiver in the game. He just needs to show it on the field when healthy and gain that connection with his quarterback in Baker Mayfield. Jarvis Landry is arguably the best short and intermediate route runner in the game and excellent after the catch. Their running back combo, to me, is clearly the best in the league. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, dynamic. Hunt, excellent playmaker in the passing game. Chubb, maybe the best pure runner in the sport. This offense is loaded. The Cincinnati Bengals, they can rival their Ohio foe with their offensive talent. AJ Green, if he steps back on the field and is 100%, look out, because not only do you have a Hall of Famer in AJ Green, but you have T. Higgins, who they drafted in the second round, the best when the ball is in the air receiver in the draft. John Ross, maybe the fastest receiver in the game outside of Tyreek Hill. Tyler Boyd, one of the best slot receivers in the game. Joe Mixon, arguably the best running back in the worst situation in the league. And you still haven't even brought up Giovanni Bernard. This weapon group that Joe Burrow has to work with is arguably a top 3 in the league. The Indianapolis Colts' greatest strength is their offensive line. This offensive line is absolutely overpowering, led by Quentin Nelson. You have Anthony Costanzo at left tackle, Braden Smith in the mix, Kelly at center. Loaded, talented, overpowering, and dominant is the word. They can run the football, take your will, and stomp on it, and they can protect the passer. If the offensive line performs, week in, week out, they're a playoff team. If it doesn't, they're not. The Houston Texans' greatest strength is their offensive explosiveness. Deshaun Watson is quietly one of the game's best deep ball passers. Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks, Kenny Stills. What do all 3 of those receivers have? Great ability to go down the field and make a play with incredible game-changing speed. Brandon Cooks was brought in because of that speed, because of that savviness, his ability to create offensive pass interferences, and to be able to make a play on the ball. Also his fantastic route running in the deep area of the field. Kenny Stills is one of the best 3rd or 4th receivers in the game. You throw in Randall Cobb underneath to stretch the defense out, David Johnson as a receiving back, Duke Johnson as another receiving back, and you combine that with Deshaun Watson's ability to run, a lot of big plays in Houston in 2020. The Jags' greatest strength is their young talent, their young studs on offense and on defense. DJ Chark as potentially one of the best young receivers in the game, especially in terms of the athletic profile with the speed, the height. Defensively, Kayvon Chaisson, Josh Allen off the edge, just freaky. The cornerback position with CJ Henderson. This team is built with a lot of youth, and at any moment, in a very X-factor way, could break out. The Tennessee Titans' greatest strength, well, we saw it in January last year. The power running game. The power running game of Derrick Henry, this offensive line, and what they want to do with Arthur Smith offensively is their greatest strength. If they can just overpower you and run the ball 40 times a game, they will do it. Derrick Henry gets better as the game goes along, and that's why they're so effective in December and January. It's cold, it's tough to tackle this absolute monster of a running back, and they can dictate the pace of play, then allowing them to shoot big plays down the field with Ryan Tannehill. That power running game is just sometimes too much. The Kansas City Chiefs' greatest strength is their quick score offense. This Chiefs offense can score at any moment, any play, any drive, anywhere on the field. And that is thanks to the incredible ability of their quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, their awesome scheme with Andy Reid, and their playmakers. You're talking about adding Clyde Edwards-Helaire, a dynamic receiver out of the backfield, Damian Williams even showed big playability like in the Super Bowl. Tyreek Hill, the fastest player in the NFL. Travis Kelce at tight end. Sammy Watkins, Demarcus Robinson, Mecole Hardman, another 4-3 guy. This offense has so much speed, so much explosiveness that they can strike on any play. You can be perfect and they'll still beat you. The Los Angeles Chargers' greatest strength is their pass defense. Combining Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram up front to get after the quarterback with Chris Harris, Derwin James, Casey Hayward, Desmond King, that's phenomenal. A great pass rush, a great secondary. They can cover, they can get after you. It's just a great complement from front to back defensively for LA. The Denver Broncos' strength is their strength. Their ability to overpower people in their front seven. Their run defense is phenomenal. Shelby Harris, Mike Purcell, Jarrell Casey. Those are three of the best pure run defenders in the NFL, and they're all on the same defensive line. You throw in Jones, Walker, of course, Bradley Chubb, and Von Miller. You are not running on this team. Outside, inside, it doesn't matter. Alexander Johnson, Todd Davis, these guys are animals. These guys are fantastic in their run fits. They do not give up big running plays. They often stuff it behind the line, and adding Jarrell Casey, Bradley Chubb back to the fold, it's gonna be scary for opposing running backs. The Las Vegas Raiders' strength is their offensive line. That is how they beat you offensively, with Colton Miller and Trent Brown at tackle. Rodney Hudson, one of the best in the game at center. Richie Incognito, one of the best at guard, and Gabe Jackson. This offensive line is just phenomenal all around, and they want to run the ball, and they can when they want to, and when they pass it, you're not getting close to Derek Carr. If he's not getting rid of it quickly, you're gonna have a tough time getting past this great offensive line. The Dallas Cowboys' greatest strength is their offensive balance. The Cowboys have built their offense with balance in mind. Ezekiel Elliott at running back, Tony Pollard behind him, the ability to run the football behind a very strong offensive line led by Tyron Smith and Zach Martin, Dak Prescott at QB with the trio of receivers now with CeeDee Lamb from the first round, one of the most underrated number 2 receivers in the game in Michael Gallup, and Amari Cooper, who's one of the game's best route runners. This team can beat you through the air. They can beat you on the ground. They're just tough to handle overall with all the matchups they can throw at you. The New York Giants' greatest strength is their inside O. Their in between the numbers offense. Evan Ingram at tight end, Sterling Shepard, Golden Tate at the slot receiver position, Saquon Barkley at running back. They have so many mismatches that they can throw at you, not to mention Daniel Jones on the read option game. They can beat you in so many ways that it's hard to match up with all these different type of athletes inside the numbers, making it an easy, efficient O for their quarterback. Philadelphia Eagles' greatest strength is their interior defensive line. You are not going to run up the middle, and it's gonna be trouble trying to block these guys in the interior defensive line. Fletcher Cox has been one of the game's best defensive tackles for a very long time. Next to him now is Javon Hargrave, an absolute underrated monster coming from Pittsburgh. Malik Jackson is back in the fold. This interior defensive line is gonna bully people. They are tough, they are physical, they are talented in Philadelphia. The Washington football team's greatest strength is their front seven. Their front seven is deep. Their front seven is fantastic. Chase Young is the next Nick Bosa out of Ohio State. They have Matt Ioannidis, the game's most underrated interior pass rusher. Jonathan Allen, Daron Payne, still Ryan Kerrigan. I haven't even got to another first round pick in Montez Sweat. That's all you need to know. Look at the list of talent that Washington has. It's off the charts. The Green Bay Packers' greatest strength is their elite players on both sides of the football. It starts with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. You have Aaron Jones at running back behind him, Devontae Adams on the outside, David Bakhtiari at left tackle, Zadarius Smith at edge, Kenny Clark inside, Alexander at corner. This team has elite talent at most positions, at least one great player at every spot, And that is why they went 13-3 a year ago. The Packers, their greatest strength is just having more talent than you. The Minnesota Vikings' greatest strength on defense is their safeties and their linebackers. A Zimmer defense needs to have great safety play and needs to have great linebacker play because they ask these guys to do a lot of different things. It starts with Harrison Smith at strong safety, his ability to combine great coverage skills with the ability to defend the run. Then you have Anthony Harris at free safety, who just flies all over the field and makes great interceptions in the air and great plays on the ball, saving the big play for this secondary. Anthony Barr, this guy is asked to do so many different things within this defense and doesn't get enough credit for that. He is a great athlete, and they utilize him in this defense, in coverage, covering sometimes slot receivers, putting him in uncomfortable positions. Then you have Eric Kendricks and Eric Wilson. Eric Kendricks being a breakout linebacker a year ago, one of the 5 best in the game right now, equally fantastic defending the run as he is in coverage, a very smart player. And Eric Wilson is a great depth guy at the linebacker position to have as well. The Vikings thrive when their defense at linebacker and safety is strong, and they are in 2020. The front 7 of the Bears is their greatest strength. From Khalil Mack to now his new partner, his new Robin, Robert Quinn. Those two are fantastic on the edge. Quinn is going to thrive as Mack takes all the attention. Akeem Hicks, a monster inside. Eddie Goldman, in his own right, also a monster. Roquan Smith on the rise at linebacker. Danny Trevathan, a vet at linebacker. And I didn't even go through the list of depth names that they have on the roster, like Roy Robertson Harris, who I'm a huge fan of. This Bears front 7 is big, it's tough, it's physical, and it's freaky. The Detroit Lions' greatest strength is their passing game. I believe the Lions have one of the game's most underrated passing attacks, and I wouldn't be shocked if this passing attack was top 5 next year. Remember, Matthew Stafford through 8 games last year was on pace to throw for 5,000 yards, or at least close to it. Matt Stafford, number 9, is a baller at quarterback. Kenny Golladay is one of the 10 best receivers in the game and fantastic when the ball is in the air. Marvin Jones is super slept on at the number 2. Danny Amendola in the slot. Geronimo Allison they added at the number 4. TJ Hawkinson, a stud from the draft a year ago. Year 2 at tight end, his breakout year. And now they add a weapon out of the backfield like DeAndre Swift, who's a fantastic route runner and receiver. It's extremely intriguing what the Lions can do and how many ways they can attack you through the air. The New Orleans Saints' greatest strength is Sean Payton, their offensive scheme specifically. Their scheme has been tried and true year after year. Defenses try to beat it. Defenses try to attack it. It's just unbeatable. Sean Payton finds so many different ways with the playmakers on his team, specifically Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Jared Cook, and now Emmanuel Sanders. Ways that you can get sliced up in the running game, screen game, passing game, and the perfect quarterback at the helm, Drew Brees, making the decisions. This offense is just so difficult to handle because it has so many layers this quarterback and coach have mastered over their last 15 years together. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers' greatest strength is their offensive versatility. I think the reason the Bucs are going to be scary on offense in 2020 is because they have versatility. You are going to see the decision-making of Tom Brady on full display when he has all these weapons around him and the ability to get rid of the ball quickly, saving this offensive line. The running game will be good because all these weapons on the outside means limited players in the box versus Ronald Jones and Keyshawn Vaughn. The tight ends, with Gronk and OJ Howard and Cameron Brate, all the different formations, the versatility that they can attack you from 2 tight end sets. Oh, all of a sudden they're in 5 wide with 2 tight ends out there. Maybe they put 3 tight ends out there. Maybe they just got 1 and 3 receivers. Godwin, Evans, Tyler Johnson, Scotty Miller. They have different type of receivers. Godwin can play in the slot or he can play outside. The versatility's off the charts. And not only that, but Tom Brady's ability to utilize those playmakers, get them in the right matchup, play to play, and then thrive off of it is why this offense is so dangerous. The Atlanta Falcons' greatest strength is Matt Ryan to Julio Jones. But not only Matt Ryan to Julio Jones, you also throw in Calvin Ridley. I think Calvin Ridley is going to have a breakout year this year as the number 2 clear-cut option in Atlanta's offense, playing more in the slot this year. Julio is the game's best, most dynamic year-to-year receiver. Matt Ryan is a great decision maker and passer of the football. And as long as they can protect him, this combo, when they're thriving, when they're healthy, is nearly unstoppable in the passing game. The Carolina Panthers' strength is their offensive playmakers. It starts with their running back, Christian McCaffrey, who's the game's best, most versatile running back at receiving and running the football. His vision, his quickness, his route running, and hands are off the charts. And then you throw in Curtis Samuel, who's super underrated down the field as an option or with the ball in his hands. DJ Moore is maybe the game's best with the ball in his hands receiver. And then you throw in Robbie Anderson as a downfield threat. Teddy has plenty of options to get the football to. The San Francisco 49ers' greatest strength is their front seven, but not just their front seven, but their front seven's athleticism. They have freaky athlete after freaky athlete. Nick Bosa, who is a baller, strong, fast, quick, speed to power off the charts. Eric Armstead, who is big enough to play D tackle, but quick enough to play D end. You can go down the list with these guys. D Ford is a great athlete. Now they add Javon Kinlaw in the mix on the defensive line. Fred Warner, did you see his martial arts video, bro? This guy's doing flips and kicks, and he's a linebacker in the NFL. Quan Alexander is one of the fastest linebackers in the league. You throw in Greenlaw as well. This athleticism, this speed, this quickness, this strength is crazy for the 49ers. The Arizona Cardinals' greatest strength is their spread offense. Their ability to spread you out with 3, 4, 5 receivers and attack you through the passing game or the running game with Kyler's legs or now Kenyon Drake at running back. And Drake's ability out of the backfield is fantastic as well. Fitz in the slot, Christian Kirk on the outside or in the slot, Hopkins as the true number 1 option, Andy Isabella's speed. They have great different kind of athletes and playmakers that can shred you in the passing game. The Seattle Seahawks' greatest strength, even with adding Jamal Adams to the mix, it's Russell Wilson. It's Russell Wilson, man. He is a magician. He makes plays that not a lot of quarterbacks ever have been able to make. And then you add next to him a great duo, a dynamic duo in Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. It's going to be bombs away. It's going to be big play after big play in this passing game with this great quarterback and fast receivers. The LA Rams' greatest strength is their short to intermediate passing game. Sean McVay is a wizard at finding different ways for his quarterback to get easy open completions. Jared Goff is accurate in the middle of the field. And with Cooper Kupp at the slot, one of the best slot receivers in the game, Robert Woods, one of the most underrated receivers in the game, and one of the tight ends on the rise, Tyler Higbee, who I think in 2020 is going to have a breakout season. This is their strength. All these crossing routes, underneath patterns, the ability to just shred zone coverage, and the screen game is also fantastic. The Rams thrive in the middle of the field in their short and intermediate passing game. Those are the greatest strengths of every NFL team going into 2020. If you enjoyed, Gronk, spike the like button and subscribe for more. It's Mitch. Peace.